Ever wished you could control time? Well, in these games, I can do just that. Today, I'm counting down the top 12 games where I manipulate time to my advantage. Let's dive in and bend the fabric of reality. From rewinding my mistakes to exploring time loops, these games let me play with time in the most exciting ways. Trust me, once I've tasted the power of temporal manipulation, I'll never want to go back to boring old linear time again. And let's not forget about those games that let me fast forward through tedious tasks. No more waiting around for crops to grow or buildings to construct. Just zip forward and voila! Instant gratification at its finest. Starting off my list at number 12 is Time Spinner. This Metroidvania lets me start time as I explore two parallel worlds, solving puzzles and avoiding enemies. Picture this, I'm in a dark, mysterious cave and suddenly a horde of enemies surrounds me. But instead of panicking or frantically dodging attacks, I just hit pause on the universe. Everything freezes in place, giving me the chance to plan my next move with surgical precision. It's like having my own personal remote control for reality. And let's be honest, who needs to dodge when I can just hit pause on the universe? It's like playing a game of tag with kids, but holding a permanent timeout card. I'm practically invincible, strolling past foes like I'm on a leisurely Sunday walk while they're stuck mid-swipe or mid-roar. Plus, the puzzles in Time Spinner aren't just your typical find the key to open the door kind. Oh no, they require me to manipulate time itself to solve them. Imagine rewinding a collapsing bridge or freezing water mid-splash to create a solid path across. From time stopping to time rewinding, let's check out my next game. Coming in at number 11, we have Braid. Oh boy, if I've ever wished for a magical rewind button for life's embarrassing moments, this game's got me covered, at least in its beautifully crafted world. Braid is a puzzle platformer that lets me manipulate time like it's silly putty. Imagine being at a fancy dinner party and I accidentally knock over my glass of red wine. In real life, I'd be mortified, frantically dabbing at the stain while muttering apologies. But in Braid, no problem. Just hit that rewind button and watch as the wine defies gravity, flying back into my glass. If only I had this power in real life, right? But Braid isn't just about fixing my clumsy mistakes. The game throws mind-bending puzzles at me that require some serious temporal gymnastics to solve. I'll be rewinding, fast-forwarding, and even creating time bubbles to navigate through levels. And let me tell you, the satisfaction of solving a particularly tricky puzzle in Braid is unmade. It's like finally figuring out how to fold a fitted sheet. I feel like I've unlocked one of the universe's greatest mysteries. Next up, it's time to merge gaming with a bit of television drama. Alright folks, buckle up, because I'm about to hit number 10 on my list and it's a doozy. Quantum Break, baby. This game is like if Netflix decided to have a love child with a superhero movie, and then that child grew up to have an unhealthy obsession with time manipulation. Picture this, I'm watching my favorite TV show, but instead of just sitting there like a couch potato, I'm actually controlling the main character, and not just in a choose-your-own-adventure kind of way. No, I'm bending time itself to my will, freezing enemies mid-air and solving puzzles that would make Einstein scratch his head. I mean, who hasn't watched an action movie and thought, man, I wish I could pause that explosion and walk around it in slow motion? Well, in Quantum Break, I can. It's like having a universal remote for reality, but with way cooler special effects. And let's talk about that integrated TV show. It's like the game developers said, you know what? Let's make sure our players never have to choose between gaming and binge watching again. It's multitasking at its finest, folks. I'm not just playing a game, I'm participating in an interactive cinematic experience. It's like being the star of my own sci-fi series, but with less risk of being killed off in season 3. Now let's rewind things a bit and talk about a classic favorite that involves some magical sand. Alright folks, buckle up, because I'm about to take you on a magic carpet ride through time with number 9 on my list. Now, I don't know about you, but I've always dreamed of having a Rowan button for life's embarrassing moments. You know, like when I trip on a flat surface or accidentally call my teacher mom in front of the whole class. Well, this game gives me that power, at least in its beautifully crafted world. I'm gracefully leaping from pillar to pillar, feeling like the most agile prince in all of Persia. Then suddenly, oops, I misjudge a jump and plummet towards certain doom. But wait, instead of becoming a royal pancake, I simply whip out my handy dandy dagger of time and rewind that embarrassing moment into oblivion. It's like having a personal blooper eraser. And let's be honest, who among us hasn't wished for a do-over when attempting that crucial jump in a platformer? I mean, I can't count the number of times I've yelled at my screen, "Come on, I totally made that jump." Well, in Sands of Time, I can prove myself right. It's like being able to argue with gravity itself and win. But it's not just about correcting my clumsy mistakes. The game throws mind-bending puzzles at me that require some serious temporal gymnastics to solve. I'm rewinding, slowing down time, and even creating temporal copies of myself. It's like being a time-traveling acrobat, but without the risk of accidentally becoming my own grandparent. Now let's slow things down, literally, with my next game. We're diving into number 8 on my list, and let me tell you, it's a real mind bender. Say hello to Super Hot. Now, I've played my fair share of first-person shooters, but this one, it's like someone took the genre, tossed it in a blender with the Matrix, and hit puree. The result? A game where time moves only when you do. It's like the universe has stage fright and freezes up until I make a move. Picture this, I'm standing in a stark white room, surrounded by red polygonal baddies. They're frozen mid-action, bullets hanging in the air like deadly Christmas ornaments. I take a step and suddenly everything lurches into motion. It's like playing chess, but with bullets, and I'm the king who's dodging them. I can't tell you how many times I found myself contorting in my chair, trying to physically dodge bullets in real life. Pro tip, it doesn't work, and it makes me look ridiculous. But in Super Hot, it's all part of the strategy. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the feeling of weaving through a hail of bullets in slow motion, grabbing a gun out of midair, and taking out 3 enemies before they can blink. It's like being the coolest action hero in the world's slowest, most intense fight scene. From bullets to butterflies, let's see how time travel affects emotions. Alright folks, buckle up, cause at number 7 we have the emotionally charged Life is Strange. And let me tell you, this game is like a teenage drama on steroids, with a side of time travel. You're Max Caulfield, an awkward photography student with the power to rewind time. Sounds cool, right? Well, it is, until you realize that every decision you make could potentially butterfly affect your entire life, and the lives of everyone around you. It's like playing God, but with more angsty and indie music. I can't tell you how many times I've sat there, staring at the screen, agonizing over whether to tell my best friend her boyfriend's cheating or keep my mouth shut. And then, when I finally make a decision, I immediately regret it and rewind. It's like having a universal remote for your social life, but instead of making things easier, it just gives you more opportunities to overthink everything. And don't even get me started on the dialogue choices. I swear, I've spent more time deciding what to say in this game than I have in real life conversations. It's like being back in high school, but with the power to erase all your embarrassing moments. Well, most of them anyway. Time travel has never been so dramatic. Just be careful what you wish for. One minute, you're trying to save your friend from a bully. The next, you're unraveling a town-wide conspiracy and questioning the very fabric of reality. It's exhausting, really. I've never been so stressed about being a teenager, and I've already lived through it once.
Guess it's true then. I heard you had a hell of a night.
Gotta track down Steph to pick up my DVD. I've still got time before class.
Now, it's time for some sci-fi action with a twist of time manipulation. Number 6 on my list is Titanfall 2, and let me tell you, this game is a wild ride through time and space. Picture this, I'm in the middle of a high-octane sci-fi shooter, bullets flying everywhere, explosions rocking the ground beneath my feet. Suddenly, I'm given the power to hop between 2 different time periods, like I'm changing channels on a TV. It's absolutely mind-bending. I remember the first time I played that level. There I was, running through a dilapidated facility, when suddenly I hit a button and bam, I'm in the past, where everything's shiny and new. It's like having a time machine in my pocket, except it's way cooler and involves giant robots. I mean, who needs a DeLorean when I've got a Titan? The best part? Using this time-jumping ability to outsmart enemies. 1 second I'm cornered by a group of baddies in the present. The next, I've popped into the past, flanked them, and then jumped back to the present to take them out. It's like playing the world's most complicated game of peekaboo, but with guns and mechs. And don't even get me started on the puzzles. I've never felt so smart and so confused at the same time. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while riding a roller coaster. Thrilling, disorienting, and somehow incredibly satisfying when I finally figure it out.
Unauthorized personnel detected. Activating automated security.
Next, let's step into a time loop that's more murder mystery than sci-fi. Taking the number 5 spot is the Sexy Brutale. Now I know what you're thinking. With a name like that, this game must be some kind of steamy dating sim, right? Wrong! It's actually a puzzle game where you relive the same day repeatedly, trying to prevent the murders of mansion guests. Talk about a wild party. I've gotta say, playing this game feels like being stuck in Groundhog Day, but with a dash of Agatha Christie thrown in for good measure. Just try not to get stuck in a loop of confusion. Trust me, I've been there. 1 minute I'm sipping champagne and mingling with the guests. The next, I'm frantically trying to stop a chandelier from falling on someone's head. For the umpteenth time. The first time I played, I felt like the world's most incompetent detective. There I was, sneaking around this lavish mansion, eavesdropping on conversations, and trying to piece together who's gonna kill who and when. And just when I thought I had it all figured out, bam, the day resets and I'm back to square one, nursing a serious case of deja vu. But let me tell you, there's something oddly satisfying about finally cracking the code and saving someone's life. It's like being the hero of your own personal murder mystery, except you get unlimited do-overs. Just don't expect anyone to thank you. They have no idea you've been saving their bacon day after day after day. From a mansion to the vastness of space, let's see how time loops work on a cosmic scale. At number 4, it's the mind-blowing Outer Wilds. Let me tell you, this game is like nothing I've ever experienced before. Imagine being stuck in a 22-minute time loop, but instead of reliving the same boring day over and over, you're exploring an entire miniature solar system. I remember my first loop. There I was, a bright-eyed astronaut ready to explore the cosmos. I hopped into my rickety spaceship, blasted off into space, and promptly crashed into a planet because I couldn't figure out the controls. But hey, no worries. In 22 minutes, I'd get another shot. And let me tell you, 22 minutes might not seem like a lot, but trust me, when the sun's about to explode, you make every second count. I've never felt so much pressure to speed read alien artifacts or quickly stuff my face with marshmallows around a campfire before the universe resets. The best part? Every loop, you learn something new. It's like the universe's most intense cram session. One loop, I'm deciphering ancient alien writings. The next, I'm trying to navigate a planet that's literally falling apart around me. And don't even get me started on the time I got eaten by a giant angler fish. Talk about a learning experience. Now let's rewind back to a classic title where time is of the essence. Alright, folks, coming in at number 3, we've got the legendary Majora's Mask. Now, this game takes the cake when it comes to stress-inducing countdowns. I mean, who doesn't love the pressure of having just 3 days to save the world, right? Let me tell you, playing this game is like being stuck in the world's most intense escape room. You've got 72 hours to figure out how to stop the moon from crashing into the planet. No biggie, right? Oh, and did I mention you can rewind time? It's like having a cosmic remote control, but instead of fast forwarding through commercials, you're trying to prevent global annihilation. I can't count the number of times I found myself frantically running around Clocktown, trying to be in 5 places at once. One minute I'm helping a couple reunite, the next I'm chasing down a thief, all while keeping an eye on that creepy moon that's getting way too close for comfort. Talk about multitasking! And don't even get me started on the masks. I've never had an identity crisis quite like the one I experienced in this game. One second I'm a Deku Scrub, the next I'm a Goron, then a Zora. It's like the world's weirdest costume party, but with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. I've got to say, after playing Majora's Mask, my day job feels like a breeze. At least I don't have to worry about the moon falling on my head every 72 hours. From ancient masks to modern stealth, let's see how time can be used for sneaky purposes. At number 2, we have the Stealthy Dishonored 2. Oh boy, let me tell you about this gem. It's like someone took a time machine, mixed it with a ninja, and sprinkled in some Victorian era aesthetics for good measure. There's this one level that absolutely blow my mind. Picture this. I'm snaking around this massive mansion, trying to avoid guards and solve puzzles. Sounds pretty standard, right? Wrong. I've got this magical doohickey that lets me peek into the past and even step between 2 different time periods. It's like having a temporal peephole. I can't tell you how many times I found myself stuck in one timeline, surrounded by guards, only to pop into the past and waltz right through. It's like the ultimate get out of jail free card, but with more temporal paradoxes. And the puzzles? Oh man, they're a real brain bender. One minute I'm in the present, staring at a locked door. The next, I'm in the past, rearranging furniture so it'll block the door in the future. It's like playing chess against myself, but across time. Time travel meets stealth, because sometimes the best way to sneak is to change the timeline entirely. I've never felt so sneaky and so confused at the same time. It's like being a time-traveling ninja with a penchant for interior decorating. Finally, let's head to ancient Rome, where time is both your ally and your enemy. And now drumroll please. Taking the top spot is the Forgotten City. Oh boy, where do I even begin with this mind-bending masterpiece? Imagine being stuck in ancient Rome, but instead of worrying about toga fashion or gladiator matches, you're trying to solve a mystery that keeps resetting every day. It's like Groundhog Day meets Sherlock Holmes, but with more togas and fewer deerstalker hats. I can't tell you how many times I found myself sprinting through Roman streets, desperately trying to prevent someone from breaking the golden rule before the day resets. It's like playing the world's most intense game of temporal whack-a-mole. One minute, I'm casually chatting with a philosopher, the next, I'm diving through a portal to start the day over because someone decided to steal a loaf of bread. And let me tell you, being the only person who remembers each loop is both a blessing and a curse. Sure, it's great for solving puzzles and uncovering secrets, but try explaining to someone why you know their deepest, darkest secret when you've just met them. Talk about awkward conversations. The best part, using my knowledge of future events to manipulate the present. It's like being the ultimate puppet master, but instead of strings, I'm pulling on the fabric of time itself. I've never felt so powerful and so utterly confused at the same time. It's a whodunit where time itself is the biggest clue and the biggest challenge. Can I solve the mystery before time runs out? Or will I be stuck in ancient Rome forever, doomed to eat nothing but olives and grape leaves for eternity?
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
And there you have it, 12 games that let you play with time in ways you've never imagined. So from stopping time to rewinding it, I've explored games that turn time manipulation into a key part of the experience. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it? I've dodged bullets in slow motion, saved lives over and over again, and even prevented the moon from crashing into the earth. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted just thinking about it. Who knew playing with time could be so much fun and sometimes so tricky? Whether I'm stopping time or reliving the same day, these games prove that time is a toy, not a tyrant. They've given me the power to control the one thing I can't in real life, and boy is it a rush. If you enjoyed this list, don't forget to hit that like button and let me know in the comments which time-bending games are your favorites. Are you a fan of the intense action of Superhot, or do you prefer the emotional roller coaster of Life is Strange? Maybe you're more into the cosmic mysteries of Outer Wilds. Whatever your preference, I want to hear about it. And of course, subscribe for more gaming lists that break all the rules of time and space. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep gaming and keep bending time.
Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't.